So, as we already said, it is possible, and I showed already, to deploy a virtual machine or other resources through the Azure Portal. It is also possible to deploy resources through infrastructure as code. And when using infrastructure as code within Azure, we use the Bicep language. And as you can see here, I have a main.bicep file, which defines the resources I want to deploy. So I want to deploy 2 virtual machines, which holds down that I need to deploy a storage account, which holds the disks. I have a virtual network, which the virtual machine is connected to. This virtual network has an address space. It has subnet. The subnet has a name, and all the details I need to put into the Azure portal normally, I need to define here within my main.bicep file. So I can scroll down and I see all the specific resources that are needed in my deployment. I have a network interface card. I have, well, the virtual machine itself with its size and the disk and the operating system that's going to run on the disk, etc. So all the details that are needed, all the input that is needed is defined through code in this bicep file. And bicep files can become very big. So that's where parameter files become in handy, because all the details that you want to put in, that you want to change, you can put those in a parameter file. So for this deployment, I want to deploy to West Europe, for instance. I want to deploy Linux. I want to deploy 2 virtual machines, and I need a username, and that user needs a password. So to deploy this, I use a PowerShell file, which well, has some settings. It connects to my tenant. You can deploy some parameter too. So it needs to deploy to a resource group. All the things you need are defined here in my deployment file. So I first need to connect to my tenant, which is this one. Let me see. I think it will pop up now. So I can put in my credentials. Or maybe it's sitting in the background. That sometimes happens too. Yes, there it is. Let me see where it goes. Yes, there it is. I need to put in my account so I can get access to my tenant. It's the same account I used to sign into the Azure portal. Need to do multi-factor authentication. Yes. And that is done too. And then I go back to my Visual Studio Code. It says, okay, which subscription do you want to deploy to? I only have one, so I click enter. So then then I can just start deploying. Deploy with PS1, and I only want to do a deploy. So I hit enter, and I will go through all the settings within the bicep file, within the deployment. So to create a resource group test, to create a deployment ID, and it will use a parameter file as defined here. So it will start deploying now. It is running. And I can go to the Azure portal now already. I could go in, look into the resource group. And it's an existing resource group already, because the virtual machine I deployed to the Azure portal was also in the same resource group. But as you can see, extra virtual machines are already added. This one is still running. So if I go to the virtual machines overview in my tenant, I can see already that 2 extra virtual machines are already added with a status of creating. These are Linux virtual machines. It's the size we specified, and they both have public IP addresses as defined within the Bicep file. So it's pretty straightforward. So as you can see, the benefit is I can put in the details here. You can fix all the mistakes you have, and if you deploy this again over and over, you always get the same result. It's one of the benefits of infrastructure as code. And as you can see, the script is finished, and I already showed you in the Azure Portal, I have 2 virtual machines here deployed through a Bicep file. Thank you.